Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 40 of Quattroporte, the review series for Gran Turismo's pretty broad selection of sports sedans or sports saloons or super saloons, however you want to term them, and we've got quite a lot of variation within that class. Even manufacturers who offer two or more cars within the sports or super saloon class will be completely different. Now there are some which are similar, like the variations of Evo, the variations of Impreza, but mostly they tend to be very disparate. You compare the BMW M5 to the 330i, or the Mercedes E55 to the C63, they're completely different machines. And in the case of this car, that is also the case. Now there are kind of four versions of this car in effect featured on the game, and two of those are kind of unnecessary. Well, completely unnecessary, to be honest. There are two versions of this exact car, and there are also, if I remember correctly, two concept versions. And two of those are unnecessary, because they're just the different name for the same thing. They're literally the exact same car. Whether you call it the Mazda 6 or the Atenza is irrelevant. It's the same vehicle. Likewise with the concept version, as I said, if I remember correctly. So we're reviewing the production spec machine, and we have of course already reviewed a version of the Mazda 6 or the Atenza in this series, and it's one of my favourite, if not my favourite, sports sedans that you can buy, and that's the Mazdaspeed version, which in the UK we call the Mazda 6 MPS. That is a brilliant car as far as I'm concerned, a completely undervalued sports saloon. Ironically enough, in real life as well as on the game, they do not keep their value second-hand for some reason. They go for lower than £5,000 now, which is insane to me, but also kind of cool at the same time. It means it's an absolute performance bargain, and for that you get hot hatch levels of power, all-wheel drive, and seriously good performance. On the game, when we reviewed this car, you fully tune that, and you're looking at well over 500 horsepower, incredible drag potential for its spec, and the weight of a WRC rally car. It's a very difficult all-round package to beat for what it is, which is a sports saloon, and it makes a perfect foil, and a completely unexpected one, to cars such as the Evo and Impreza, which it's surprisingly similar to. So what about this car? Well, as I said about cars being different within manufacturers, that's definitely the case with this one. This car would be difficult to get any more different to the Mazdaspeed version if you tried. For a start, it's not all-wheel drive, it's front-wheel drive, so immediately there are massive changes. It's lighter, it has completely different handling. The handling leads with the front end because all of your power is going to those front wheels. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course it increases torque steer and does give it more of a tendency to spin up those front wheels, but it also means that it's much harder to make the car, or even by accident, the car to lose control, because it's being led with that front end, which will 9 times out of 10 pull you back into line if you clip the grass, etc. So that's a good thing. And when I say it's lighter, it really is. Almost 100 kilos lighter, 1138 with the full weight loss package. And even though it is a less powerful car, it's still not underpowered by any means. The 2.3 litre turbo engine can put out 408 horsepower, 289 foot-pounds of torque. And for, as it is, a relatively low-level sports sedan as far as Gran Turismo goes, those are some pretty decent specs. Now, as far as horsepower per tonne, it's not overly high, because it doesn't have a massive amount of power to work with. Impressive for what it is, but not massive. So 359 horsepower per tonne is not bad at all. The PP, though, is a little bit too high, I would say. 512 is quite high for a car of its spec, considering that it's not remarkably lightweight or remarkably powerful. Both are pretty good, but not necessarily 512 PP good. That being said, as far as overall sports sedan or saloon categories go, and comparing it to its rivals, it is a good deal, especially for 23 grand, which is the price. That's cheaper than many hot hatches, and that's a very difficult deal to beat. Now in a straight line, it's uninspiring. The top speed isn't incredible, the acceleration isn't incredible, but it gets the job done. It's not the kind of car that you buy for that reason. So the real question is handling. How does it compare? Well, in real life the Mazda 6 is considered to be a very good performance car. It's fun, it has character, and that is carried over to the game. It is a fun car to drive. So the question is, should you buy one? Well, overall, I don't think many people would expect this car to take on stuff like a BMW M5 or all those usual suspects. And it can't. I'm not going to turn around and say that this car is some amazing, completely unseen by most players Daihatsu Storia Cross 4 style sleeper, because it's just not. It is, however, a pretty good car to say the least. It's not necessarily mind-blowing, but it's not bad at all. It's fun, it's understated, it's powerful for what it is, it's relatively light, it has excellent handling, and it's cheap. So although it's not necessarily the best at anything, it's pretty good at just about everything. So I wouldn't recommend it as the kind of car that you'd buy and then completely depend on, because it categorically will not win every race you enter with it. But it's the kind of car that I'd recommend trying if you fancy driving something different, or having a different challenge within that kind of sports sedan circumstance. But that's it overall for this particular review. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.